Published, 1810 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 23rd of April 2018. Updated, 1941 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 23rd of April 2018. Thrice the worry now, joked the Duke of Cambridge last night, looking every inch a man without a care in the world as he set off for home with his new son strapped on the back seat alongside his quite remarkable wife. The couple were very happy and delighted, he added, as they showed off the new fifth in line to the throne. "We didn't keep you waiting too long this time," he added. You can say that again, even by her own standards. Yesterday was a stellar performance by the Duchess of Cambridge. Quite apart from looking as fresh as a state banquet flower arrangement just 7 hours after giving birth to her third child, her timing had been near miraculous. She had managed to avoid upstaging the Queen's big Commonwealth summit all last week. She had successfully dodged the sovereign's 92nd birthday celebrations at the weekend. Prince William, Duke of Cambridge and Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge leave the Linda wing of St. Mary's Hospital with their newborn baby boy. The royal couple show off the newborn prince to the world's media and photographers outside the Linda wing. Then, with perfect timing, she picked St. George's Day, Shakespeare's birthday to boot, to be safely delivered of a son. And to cap it all, she has now followed the monarch's very own nursery batting order, too. Boy, girl, boy. Nearly 3 years on from the birth of Princess Charlotte, the world's media took up their now familiar maternity battle stations soon after breakfast yesterday outside St. Mary's Hospital, Paddington. The royal family's role as Britain's foremost soft power asset was underlined by the presence of 300 media organizations from all over the world. And those were just the ones with official passes. Dozens more were being turned away as bulletins from the Baltic to Bali cut into their news schedules to break the news that the Duchess had gone into labor. They cut in again at lunchtime to relay the further announcement, "It's a boy," as fifth in line. The baby may be unlikely to trouble the constitutional scores. He is destined, gradually, to slip down the line of succession just as everyone from Prince Harry onwards dropped one rung yesterday following his arrival. But he and his elder sister, Princess Charlotte, have already made royal history. Here is the first British prince in history not to elbow a female sibling out of the way by dint of his sex. Thanks to the new Succession to the Crown Act of 2013, which ended male primogeniture in the royal family for all those born after 2011, Charlotte stays ahead of him in fourth spot. The other knock-on effect of yesterday's news concerned a different royal third-born. The recent change in legislation means that only numbers 1 to 6 in the line of succession now need the Queen's permission to marry. Having just dropped down to number 7, the Duke of York is henceforth a free man in that regard. The world's media descended on the Linda wing in London where the royal couple appeared. A few jaundiced Republicans took to social media for a long day of carping about the predictability of it all, thus completely missing the point. One of the central functions of monarchy is continuity. It is precisely these entirely benign, well-loved human moments in our national story that have such a strong global appeal, right down to the traditional appearance of the official announcement. Out it came yesterday afternoon, carried by 2 lady footmen and plonked on Eddie the Easel, just inside the Buckingham Palace railings. Crowds were still queuing up to photograph it last night. We'll see more of that same soft power being deployed next month when the world tunes in for the royal wedding. It seldom comes softer, though, than when it is wrapped up in a royal shawl on the steps of the Linda wing. I met Bohumil Vostal from the Czech equivalent of BBC One. His producers were already working on the royal baby as the main feature item on the evening news. Laura Calmis of France 2 explained that the unnamed new princeling had just overtaken yesterday's big Franco-Belgian terrorist trial on the afternoon schedule. Photographers had already drawn lots for their positions opposite the door of the Linda wing. Stepladders of every size formed the usual aluminium mountain range. It was not quite as high as it had been for Prince George back in 2013, more Pyrenees than Himalayas this time, but it was still quite a spectacle. The major British outlets filled the central section, with almost every part of the globe represented from end to end. A special enclosure had been erected for the Commonwealth. In among the Canadians and Kiwis, I found an enterprising Danish television crew who had managed to persuade the hospital authorities that Denmark was a member of the Commonwealth. One of the best vantage points had been given over to the regular band of diehards who turn up for these moments. It takes a particularly devoted breed of royal watcher to camp out for a royal birth. Prince William joked with photographers that there would be "thrice worry now" as he appeared outside the Linda wing after the birth of his third child at 11:01 yesterday morning. You can set your watch by a wedding or a state opening of Parliament, but babies can involve weeks of hardship. I met Maria Scott, 46, a housewife from Newcastle upon Tyne, who had been here since March 31st. She and her daughter Amy, 28, had spent the first few nights in a hotel but for the last fortnight, had been sleeping in a tent by the 24-hour hospital entrance. It was, Amy admitted, a terrible spot to get a decent night's sleep. People can't understand why I do this but I can't understand why they like football, said Maria cheerfully. She has become part of this inner core of royal superfans and will soon be joining them all again at Windsor for the wedding. I just like to be there for all the milestones, she added. Just after 4 p.m., a shiny Land Rover Discovery pulled up and the chauffeur made himself scarce. Down the steps came the Duke of Cambridge, beaming broadly and telling the crowds, back in a minute, he was off to pick up his eldest two and bring them for their first glimpse of baby brother. When they returned, Prince George was still in his school uniform and rather bemused by the bewildering legion of lenses over the road. Princess Charlotte, on the other hand, was all waves and smiles. To the balcony borne. There had been murmurings from inside Kensington Palace that the Duchess might stay in for the night, given that her 5-hour labor had been rather longer than last time. But that rumor had barely got its boots on when word came that she was all set to go. Within the hour, the new prince emerged in his mother's arms to great shrieks of delight at ground level and up through the open windows of every floor of this vast London hospital. Many of those peering out from on high were still in their hospital scrubs. The Duchess of Cambridge and Prince William emerged from the Lindo wing to show off their new son to the world in hopes they had finished whatever they were supposed to be doing. The combined multi-story whooping successfully drowned out an alternative comedian with a megaphone ranting infunnily about the cost of the monarchy from the back of the crowd. The new Prince of Cambridge snoozed through it all. In due course, when Daddy becomes Prince of Wales, he will become Prince X of Wales. But he may find it hard to establish his Welsh credentials. For he is always going to be irredeemably English with April 23 as his birthday. Yesterday, Jeremy Corbyn shamelessly promised that a future Labour government would even make it a public holiday, albeit one in honour of St. George rather than Prince George's baby brother. Today, the army will fire gun salutes at Hyde Park and the Tower of London in honour of the new arrival. At the same time, we will enjoy another great royal tradition, guessing the baby's name. The bookies favour Arthur, James and Albert. There is one other name which seems to have been overlooked. The royal family have a tradition of sharing names and baby Cambridge does share his birthday with the bard. Surely we can expect to see William in